Hello and welcome back to our masterclass on temperaments. Today we'll be discussing the choleric in affection. I'm Roy Clark. Once again, we're here with my wife, Dr. Amy. Hey there.
Hi.
Ready to discuss this?
I'm ready.
Wonderful. The choleric in affection. So what are they like?
The choleric in affection, again, sort of mimics the sanguine.
Okay.
So they can appear to want love and affection and to be compassionate, but underneath they're not.
Oh,
So
okay.
they have the ability to show love and affection, but it's really on their own terms.
All right.
When it's good for them, they will show it. If it's not good for them, then they pull it away very quickly.
Okay.
So again, this can be very confusing
Right.
to somebody who is married to them because they can just rock their world. They can be so charismatic and affectionate and so filled with love, and then just turn it off like that.
Oh, wow.
So
That's got to be a challenge.
yes.
So if I'm married to this choleric in affection, what do I do?
The choleric likes to be acknowledged. They like to feel recognized and important. So the more that you can kind of stroke their ego, then
Okay.
they will be more likely to show love and affection.
Oh, okay. So they have the ability to show love and affection.
Yes.
But generally when it works for them.
Yeah, when it works for them. They don't really
Okay.
need it.
All right.
So a lot of times the cleric is doing things to appease somebody else or to get something that they
Okay.
want.
Right.
So I forgot to mention in the other videos that like if a cleric shows up into counseling,
Yeah.
it's usually so that they can get somebody off their back,
Or fix somebody else.
fix somebody else. So
Okay.
there are the two temperaments that really seek out counseling, and the cleric is one of the ones that rarely does.
Okay.
If they go, it's once, and it's like, so they can say, all right, I went to counseling, it didn't work, and, now leave me alone.
This doesn't sound good.
It's not the most flattering
Right.
temperament.
Okay, so let's say I'm choleric in affection.
Yeah.
What do I do? I mean, there's got to be some things that I can work on. I do love others, right? I mean, because we know that temperament plus environment equals personality, right?
Yeah.
And so let's say I was raised in a loving environment. I saw my parents love each other.
Yeah.
I want to have that,
Right.
but my temperament is kind of
It's
driving me.
It's a little selfish. So
Okay.
we can deny ourselves. We can see love in somebody else. We can train ourselves not to give in to our
Okay.
weaknesses.
Right.
But there is a selfishness in every choleric that runs throughout the temperament.
There's a selfishness in everybody.
Yes.
Right. Just the cleric is a little more prone.
A little more prone, and they just don't experience as much guilt.
Because they're not as emotional as some of
No.
the other
No.
temperaments.
It says that they seem to have very few emotions and feelings other than anger.
Okay. So if we go back to our formula, anger is a reaction to fear or pain. What do you think they're primarily afraid of?
Somebody trying to control them
Oh,
or
okay.
not feeling they need to be number one. And so if they're putting somebody else's needs in front of them, they're afraid that they will appear weak.
Right. I would think that a key to becoming a healthy choleric in affection is recognizing that there is a God or a higher power and
Yes.
that you are not it.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So when you read through the choleric temperament, it talks about the cloudy choleric. And those are the people that were raised without learning these values and morals. And so they just have a very murky sense of what's right and wrong. But if they are, like going back to that formula of temperament times environment equals personality, if they grow up in a very loving, faith-filled home, then they grow up and they are really able to sacrifice their own needs and understand the temperament needs of somebody else.
Right. So, I mean, if I get angry or if somebody hurts me or cuts me off, it is my natural desire to go knock them out, right? To get in a fight. But I don't. So I deny that urge.
Right.
Right? And then I'm taught to love my neighbor or forgive my enemy. And so the more I learn how to do that, I can become an affectionate choleric
Yes.
in affection.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So they do. I mean, they don't have the. They're not afraid to show love and affection.
Okay.
They just choose not to at times.
All right.
So they've got it in them. Sometimes they like it. It just really kind of depending on their mood.
So I can imagine being married to a choleric, right? I say to my choleric wife, you just don't feel it the way I feel. Mm-hmm. And that is the reality.
Right.
Right. So my choleric wife would then say, you're right, I don't. Mm-hmm. So how can we make this work?
I think that one of the things that we can do is study each other, and through counseling, we can come up with game plans. We can talk about strategies on how to maximize the marriage. So
this would be one of the challenging temperaments where it's important for us to understand each other's temperament. This is why we teach this class. You're going to be challenged with certain temperaments, yours, others. But in understanding them, you'll be able to relate to them better, like we said at the very beginning. The choleric in affection is a challenging temperament. That doesn't mean that they are bound for a bad relationship. If you are a choleric in affection, there are a lot of things that you can do to see the value in other people and in yourself. So, anything else?
I think that the choleric in affection is probably the most inclined to have affairs.
Okay.
Because they want affection when they want it, on their terms, and then eventually, after they have gone through enough trouble of their own, they realize that this is not worth the trouble that I'm going through.
Yeah.
They're very efficient, and then they realize that they're actually hurting themselves by hurting other people. So,
and that is a reality that we all face. When you hurt others, you do literally hurt yourself. And one of the reasons why we teach this class is so that you can have a better relationship with yourself and others. Thank you for stopping by and watching this masterclass on the choleric in affection. We look forward to seeing you in other classes in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.